packing liquid is your enemy, and it's all up in there in your business. Anyways, Yo Coot here, coming at you with another exciting video. So boneless pork loin, right? This was on sale at Costco. It was $8 off per package at the register. What a deal. So $26 got knocked down to about 18, which is pretty awesome. So the enemy is this packing liquid, right? What they do is when they ship these and other, like sometimes they do it with poultry, right? You'll see it'll say like saltwater solution, or they'll do it with beef sometimes, like a whole ribeye roast, that kind of vibe. What they do is they pack it with that saltwater solution as kind of like a preservative, but also to stick it to you because they can charge you more money because you're basically buying water and salt and not just the pure meat. So what happens if I were to just cut this package open, dry it, right, wash it, dry it, and then shove it in the oven with some seasoning? What would happen is it would come out, it would taste very watery, right? It wouldn't have a great texture. It would also be mealy. Sometimes you get that mealy kind of ness where it's just kind of like, it's just mush. So the way you ensure you get a nice biteable steak, right? That's what she's a juicy, tender cut of pork or beef or chicken or whatever it is you're doing, or turkey. They do it a lot with turkey. The way you do that is I do it in the refrigerator with the 24-hour process, which is kind of like a dry brine. So what I'll do is I'll cut it out of the package like the day before I want to eat it, sometimes even 2 days before I want to eat it. So take it out of the package, wash it, dry it with some paper towels. Paper towels are your friend. And then what I'll do is I'll put a copious amount of kosher salt all around it, right? And then put it on a little rack like this inside of a dish so that all that excess water from deep inside the meat can get drawn out. And what that does is after you cook it, or during the process of cooking, you're going to get a tender, juicy, tangy cut of meat every single bite. And it's not going to be watery or mealy. It's going to be like the perfect juiciness. Another trick is I do the seasoning like while I'm doing the kosher salt. So what's on here is, you saw the video prior to this one, I had some Italian seasoning. I had some garlic powder, granulated garlic, right? You could use pepper. You could use whatever floats your boat. If you want to do it Asian style, maybe some ginger powder or something. But the trick is dry. You want to try to keep this dry so that basically all that excess moisture, that excess packing moisture comes out of it, and it'll collect down here in this tray. That's why I have, like, if you can tell in between there, I have a little cookie rack. The meat's sitting on top of that. And right now, at least for now, it's fat side down. So the fat side is down, the meat side is up, because I want to dry out or help to get rid of a lot of that excess packing liquid as much as possible. So that's why right now it's fat side down. Tomorrow, what I'll do is, this is 24 hours later. Tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll take it out of the fridge, right? Preheat my oven to about 350. And then when it hits 350, I'm going to put this in the oven. Usually I take my meat out right when I start to preheat my oven. That gives the meat a chance to kind of acclimate to room temperature, about 20, maybe you could even take it out even a little bit earlier. You could take the meat out of the fridge maybe 20 minutes before you're ready to cook it. That way it just has a running start when it gets into the oven. So the trick is 350 degrees for about an hour, right? There's approximately, I would say there's like 6 pounds here, right? So about, that an hour or so at 350 degrees should cook it. The way I'm going to know for sure is because I'm going to do a temperature reading. So right here, it's pork. Well done is 170. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out at 165 because I kind of like my pork to be a little bit juicy and a little bit, it's still going to be cooked, but I want to take it out when it's like medium. And then the carryover cooking will just make it perfect when I take it out of the oven. Another crucial step, I mentioned this in the previous video to this one, is once I take it out of the oven, you got to let it rest. You got to let it sit and rest so that those juices can stay where they're at. If I were to take this out of the oven and slice into it right away, it would be like a fire hose. All those juices would just come gushing out, which is what you want to avoid. In order to maintain a nice, juicy cut of meat, whether it's a ribeye roast or a pork loin roast or a turkey or whatever it is, I'm going to let it rest for about a half an hour. 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. So I cooked it for an hour. I'm going to let it rest for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that, and then slice it and then go ahead and serve it and eat it. Another thing When I put this in the oven, I'm going to put it fat side up. That was something I didn't mention in the previous video, but the fat side will be up so that all that fat can just work its way down into the meat and kind of keep it lubricated and basted. You know, you kind of get a sense of what I'm trying to get there. So from beginning to end, the whole process is the day before, 24 hours before, bought the meat, going to cut it out of the package, wash it thoroughly just with some water, make sure it's washed well. Then I'm going to paper towel it dry. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it onto a rack like this, right? Rack inside of a tray. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some kosher salt, right? Like a good amount of, that's kosher salt right there. Just a nice amount of kosher salt. Rub it all around the pork loin. Or if I was doing like a ribeye roast, I would do it for the ribeye roast, or a turkey, like you see me do my turkey dinners. Basically the goal is to try to get that kosher salt on there to pull out that excess packing liquid. See all that liquid that's in there? Pull out that excess packing liquid to give me a more juicier, tender piece of meat and not be mealy or watery. I know it's kind of counterintuitive. You're pulling out water to make it more juicy. Yes, that's how it works. Put this in the fridge with all the seasonings, right? Garlic, granulated garlic, some Italian seasoning, some pepper, some, you know, whatever other spices you want to put on there. Let it sit in the fridge, fat side down, right? So fat side down, meat side up. Let it sit in the fridge uncovered for 24 hours. That's going to help to season it. It's going to help to tenderize the meat. It's going to help to make it juicier, tangier. You kind of get a sense of what I'm trying to get at. Then what I'm going to do is tomorrow, about half an hour before I'm ready to cook it, I'm going to take it out of the refrigerator, let it kind of acclimate to room temperature, right? 68 to about 72 degrees or so, give or take, something like that. I'll preheat my oven to 350. When the oven hits 350, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this fat side up, right? So I'm going to turn these upside down, right? So the fat side that's down there will now be up. Maybe give it one more hit of like some pepper or some seasoning, see what it needs just on top. Throw it in the oven, middle rack, 350 degrees for about an hour, somewhere around 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes. I'll check it with a nice thermometer and I'll kind of see where I'm at. If I hit 165, perfect. Then I know for my liking, it'll be done. It'll be medium, right? There's rare, medium, right? Then like almost well done after that. What I want is a nice medium cut of meat. It's just going to be juicy, tangy. That's how I like it. That's how I want to do it. Also, there are some links down below in the description, also in the comment section. I'm the Old Coot. I hope that answers all of your questions about how to do a roast in the oven, or at least a pork loin roast. And I'll catch you all on the next exciting video.